Well, we had a huge job going on in that we had done a complete renovation and addition of our home, and the driveway wasn't located here. It was on the other side of the property. And we were, creating a new one that was going to wrap around a different angle of the house. So we really wanted to make sure that it was done properly, because it was all on land that hadn't been blacktop before. And, we just thought he was the right guy to go with. The thing that struck me when I talked to Vinny was that he was completely professional and returned calls so promptly and would say a time that he was going to meet with me and be there right then, and had such a list of people and jobs around town that I could look at and knew came out great, as opposed to dealing with other companies that maybe you didn't hear back from them in a timely way. I just knew I wasn't going to have the worries if we used him. Well, the great thing was that Vinny really, I think it's so much a part of him when he does these jobs that he doesn't leave it to somebody else. He really connects with you and makes sure that the time that you've set up is going to work for you. He reconfirms, he'll double check again, so you just feel like you can really count on whatever time he tells you and whatever day, or, any factor that might be involved with the job. I'm trying to remember. I feel like so much of it was Vinny in terms of, you have a cell phone number and he picks it up. It's not like you have to wait for a call back from anybody. He really is the man. I mean, he really, and I think that when you're dealing with a big job, that's a great thing. And he takes complete ownership of it. So that to me was a big advantage. Again, I think so much of it relates back to Vinny's personality, that he's a pretty controlling guy, and anybody he put on the job, he was there making sure that the job was going the way it should go, that if there was any issue or any situation, he knew about it way before I would have known about it. There was no sense that I ever had that I had to be kind of watching the job, hovering over it to make sure it was done correctly. Vinny handles that and really does it beautifully. I think Vinny is very smart just because, to make his own life easier, he really hires quality people that if there's any situation, they're completely responsive to Vinny and pointing out things, and then he would contact me to say, we do have a situation maybe with this one section, could you come look at it? I want to show you what your options are, or, if it changes at all from the job. But the people that he would call you ahead of time and say they're going to be there at 7:30 in the morning. At 7:25 they are there. Everybody's doing it what they're supposed to be doing. You don't look out and see three guys having coffee on your front lawn. It's really, they're very focused, they're very diligent, extremely professional. That went extremely well. And they also worked in pouring rain. Another part of the job was terrible heat. No matter what the situation was, they were always here. You didn't get a phone call saying, it's better if we come next week now. And then there was never a pushback of any deadline, which made it so much easier because, especially with the kind of work he does, this is sort of the basis of the work. And then you have landscape guys and everybody else. So it's really important their job get done in a timely way. I was very, very satisfied with what I saw in the quality of workmanship and also the people who were actually doing the work. Clearly, they knew what they were doing. They were very confident. I never felt like anybody was learning on my job. It was that they really came very skilled, very professional, very respectful. When he's on your site, you really feel like his whole staff is respecting your space and they're doing what you ask them to do. As far as, the orchestration of the job and what was left in terms of the site, when they were on it, obviously it was a very, very well-run operation. When they left, after a full day, the site was always immaculate. You would never find a coffee cup or a wrapper anywhere around. It was that they were very tidy with their own belongings, but, you wouldn't be stumbling over a rock. Everything was safe, clean, very pleasing to the eye. There was no problems. This was a very extensive job. I don't remember time-wise if it went into 2 weeks, but I would have to say it probably did because, again, he was going on earth. It wasn't like he was laying the driveway from scratch for this, and was also really strong at working with the masons that were not his masons. You know, he coordinated beautifully with anybody else you had on the job. It was a very involved project. Yeah, huge transformation, and I think that, you know, not only, I would also like to say, I remember this now, Vinny was extremely patient in that since we were laying a driveway where there never had been one, and I have a Suburban, and we were putting a circle in, whether we could, you know, get around without having to make three-point turns to get in and out of your driveway, we must have done a dry run where he kept coming back with a can of spray paint. You know, he stood there with the can of spray paint. No, I think you need a little more room here and there. He has a fantastic eye about tweaking it so that it's going to function beautifully. It'll not only look great, it'll look like every penny you put into it, you know, you'll be very satisfied with it. But the way it functions and the durability and everything was really extraordinary. Well, on a couple of different levels, we've been so happy with the job and the way it all turned out. Number one, in terms of functionality, what he put in drains perfectly. There's never any issue that you have a problem time with water, icing, or anything like that. He made sure that was going to be great. It's always smooth, great. We never had an area sink in. It's really been a perfect driveway in terms of how it functions. And the other thing that's just nice, after you're all done with the job, it completely elevates the front of your house and the facade of your house. It really sets off. Somebody told me a long time ago, the biggest thing you can do to raise the value of your home is masonry and the hardscape. And I really think that's true because we get a ton of compliments. It sets off the whole house. It's how the people approach your house. You know, and it just has been a great thing. I think that if I had anybody that I was close to or anybody asked me about approaching a job that involved blacktopping, driveways, anything like that. And actually this did happen to me. I have recommended Rockies to so many people. I recommended them to our church when they were doing something with their parking lot. It's so important to get somebody that you can rely on, that you really will not have any worries about where am I going to be a year from now if I have a problem, can I reach this person. I think in the area we live in, there's plenty of people you can hire who can show up and do a job, but that's only half of it. After that, you really need to know that you can rely on somebody's reputation, that professionally they'll never let you down, and that they take as much pride in their work as you're going to in your home. So I think, again, it was only a fantastic experience, and I really do recommend them, and I can't imagine anybody not being glad that they had him on the job.